Ladies and gentlemen, today we have an easygoing one. I have 6 fragrances I'm going to talk about today that smell expensive, or a lot more expensive than what they cost. These fragrances range from £20 to £35 in the UK, so they are inexpensive. They're on the cheaper side of things. If you want to find out about these fragrances, just stay tuned. What is good, YouTube? Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. My name is Mikey Cologne, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. That is right, I have 6 great smelling fragrances. They are all inexpensive. None of these smell cheap. You don't get no alcohol blast. You know, some fragrances, some clones can come across a little bit like rubbing alcohol in the opening, or a little bit rugged and harsh. These are none of that. And I'm going to start off with a fragrance from the house of Maison Alhambra, and it is Afro Lever. This is a clone of, or inspired by a version of, Memo Paris's African Leather. And I did do a side-by-side a little while ago, and the overall scent profile is there, but there is definitely differences. But today we are here to talk about this fragrance. Now, with the name having leather in it, you would think that this would be a leather bomb. It isn't, but we will get into it. You've got cardamom essence, geranium absolute, leather accord, saffron, cumin, vetiver, patchouli, agar wood, which is oud, bergamot and musk. Now, how does this open up? This opens up very, very spicy, a little bit green, a touch aromatic and woodsy. I get no leather when Afro Lever opens up. It's just not there to my nose. But after a couple of minutes, that leather does start becoming present, but it's always sitting in the back. All the way through this fragrance, the leather never gets any further than that. Like, it's not a full-on leather bomb. It's not in your face. It's present, but in small amounts. This is more spicy than what it is leathery. But like I say, so it dries down after a few minutes. The leather does come through. With this, you get a little bit of an aniseed accord, which is coming from the cumin. But the cumin also backs up the woodsy side of things, and it helps out on the spicy side of things. When it dries down a little bit more, it does start to go a little bit earthy. The spice calms down. The leather is still sitting in the back. And that green quality slowly dissipates. To me, or there is a lingering bit of sweetness to the fragrance. There is a little bit of a fresh blast up top. But the bergamot is short-lived. The sweetness is minimal. The leather is minimal. You get very light touches of that oud. And that is the fragrance in a nutshell. Woodsy, spicy, a touch leathery, very light on the oud. And the oud comes out when it gets from mid to dry down. That's when the oud comes forward or becomes present. And it does add a little bit of thickness, a little bit of density to the fragrance. And it adds a little bit of a smoky quality. But again, very lightly. So if you're looking at the name thinking Afro Lever is gonna be a leather bomb or African leather, they're not leather bombs. They're not at all. I think if you dislike leather, I think you will be able to handle this fragrance. That is how minimal it is. Longevity on my skin was 6 to 7 hours. On clothes, it is faintly there the next day. It is definitely a masculine scent, but it smells very, very nice. It has a little bit of elegance to it. Like, to me, you can dress this up or dress this down, wear whatever you want. But if I was to put this in a situation, it would be smartly dressed, going out, going to formal events. You could rock this to a wedding if you're in suit and tie. This would be a great fragrance. This would be a great fragrance to rock. This cost £15. £15. That is a no-brainer, and like I say, it's very smooth, it is of very good quality, and it definitely smells a lot more expensive than what it costs. Anyway, that is Afro Lever from Maison Alhambra. This is a great scent. Up next is this bad boy from Paris Corner. It is Celestial Amir. This is an inspired by or a clone of Marc-Antoine Barrois Ganymede. This is a fantastic scent. This is expensive. I believe this is about £170, whereas this is £35. There is some slight differences. The quality with this is great. The quality with this is outstanding. It is superb. But I have done a side-by-side review of these two. If you go back and look through my reviews, you will see it. But today we are here to talk about Celestial Amir. This thing smells fantastic. If you like Ganymede and you can't afford it, get this. If you own Ganymede and you're running low and you want to savour it, get this. It is that close. It really is. And this is an unusual fragrance. You've got mineral notes, saffron, suede, violet leaf, akigala wood, immortelle, Italian mandarin and Chinese osmanthus. This opens fresh, spicy, citrusy, cold, metallic. It's got a little bit of a salty quality to it coming from the mineral notes. And that pushes a lot of freshness into the fragrance up top. The mandarin, you get a very light touch of it. In Ganymede, the mandarin is more present than what it is in Celestial Amir. But with all this going on, it's woodsy. You get a very soft, leathery undertone. And I mean very soft and smooth. To me, the akigala wood is not just woodsy here. It gives off a very light floral touch, which to me smooths the edges of this fragrance. The Chinese osmanthus does add a little bit of a fruity touch. Like once that opening calms down, there's always a little bit of an underlining fruity quality to this fragrance. It's like one of the layers. You've got woodsy, you've got spicy, you've got metallic, you've got fresh, you've got a little bit citrusy, and then you've got a little bit of a fruity quality. And all these layers make up Ganymede. All these layers make up Celestial Amir. It is a superb fragrance. It really is. I mean, and this is not harsh. This is not rough. This is very smooth, and it is very close to Ganymede itself. And for £35, this, my friends, is a no-brainer. It's definitely more on the masculine side. That salty, woodsy, spicy quality. I can't see a lot of women wanting to wear a fragrance like that. But it is an attractive fragrance. There's no doubt about it. But anyway, that is Celestial Amir from Paris Corner. This fragrance I'm going to talk to you about now is outstanding. And the value of this, I picked this up for about £14 in the UK when I bought it. So I don't know what the price is of it now. But it is from the House of Zara. And it is Unexplored Noir. My only gripe with this fragrance, and it's not really even a gripe, is that it just doesn't last too long on my skin. Straight off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I get 4 hours out of it. But the scent profile is stunning. It really is. It's not a big note breakdown. Oh, this is great. This is great. Right, you've got cardamom, pink pepper, pine tar, cashmeran, violet, iris, caramel, sandalwood and patchouli. This opens up warm, sweet, spicy. The cashmere in here gives off a little bit of a musky quality. Plus, it comes across as woodsy. You do get a smoky quality to this fragrance coming from the pine tar. But that smoky quality is never... It's not screaming. It's subdued. But you can tell that there is a little bit of a smokiness to the fragrance. As it starts to settle, the fragrance is turning creamy and powdery. The violet mixing in with the iris. This is not lipsticky. This is just on the powdery side of things, which is coming from the violet and the iris. And then this is when that caramel accord kicks in, and then the fragrance comes across vanillic, smelling like a chocolate bar, powdery, woodsy, and that smoky quality now has calmed all the way down. This to me has a gourmand edge to it. I think it smells great. I love the way it comes across. To me, this is a unisex fragrance. I just think it leans a little bit more on the masculine side because of the pine tar accord that is in this fragrance. But apart from that, a woman can enjoy this as much as a man can. But the longevity is 4 hours on my skin. It does last a little extra on clothes, but for the price, you can't grumble. It definitely smells a lot more expensive than what it is. This is a cheap fragrance and it doesn't smell cheap whatsoever. This deserves to be on the list. This is Unexplored Noir from Zara. This fragrance is coming from the house of Rassasi and it is Fatan Pour Homme. Now, if you like Terre de Mes EDT, you're in for a treat. This and this are near on exactly the same. The quality of Terre de Mes is obviously better, but for £22 you can get a fragrance that smells very, very close to this fragrance, and they are close. If they wasn't, I wouldn't even be reviewing this. Now, how does this open? Let me spray it and I'll read you the notes. These are 50ml bottles. Good atomizer. Right, you've got grapefruit, bergamot, pink pepper, vetiver, cedar, patchouli, lily of the valley, oak moss, benzoin and amber. This opens up spicy, fresh. That grapefruit here is a little bit pulpy, a little bit rindy. It does come across ever so slightly bitter, but that bitterness to the fragrance only lasts for a few minutes. Obviously the bergamot is adding the freshness and that citrusy touch. With this, as it starts to dry, the vetiver comes in, and that is the star of the show. It's earthy, it's green, it even comes across a little bit smoky. The lily of the valley, the patchouli, the cedar, all them notes combined create this aromatic quality or an aromatic side to the fragrance. Beefs up on the woodsy side of things, beefs up on the earthy side of things. There is always a lingering bit of sweetness to the fragrance. The benzoin and the amber supply that. You get sweetness near on from the get-go, but it starts out lightly sweet. But as the fragrance enters into the mid to dry down, it doesn't go balsamic or resinous. They just push in a little bit of sweetness. So as it dries, the fragrance just sweetens up a little bit. It does go earthy, very woodsy. Then the grapefruit sort of dissipates slowly. This is a great fragrance. This is a great masculine fragrance. This is sharp. This is crisp. This is fresh. This is spicy. If you're looking for something that you want to wear, if you work in an office and you wear a shirt and tie, or you just look smart in general and you want to come across smelling clean and masculine, Rassasi's Fatan will do it for you. For £22, it is a steal and the quality is great. Like I say, Terre de Mes EDT is a more expensive fragrance. I believe this is about £80 to £100, whereas this is a quarter of the price. But the quality is there. It is really good quality. But anyway, Fatan from Rassasi. This fragrance is a gem. It's coming from the house of Maison Alhambra again. I mean, they've been smashing it out the park with their clones. There is no doubt about it. Nobody can argue with that. This is Bright Peach. Now, this is a clone or an inspired by a version of Tom Ford's Bitter Peach. Again, I did do a side-by-side comparison with that fragrance, and they are very close. The overall scent profile is there. There's no doubt about it. As soon as you smell this on skin and up in the air, you think, yeah, that is Bitter Peach. But there is a few differences to where it comes to the peach in this lasts a lot longer on my skin than what it did in Bitter Peach. But like I say, I've done a side-by-side. We're talking about this today. I'm going to spray it, read you the notes, and then I'm going to go from there. Right, you got peach, Sicilian, blood orange. You got You got peach, Cillian, blood orange, Divana, cognac, patchouli, sandalwood, vanilla, tonka bean, benzoin, labdanum, and cashmeran. Straight out the gate, this opens up bright, fresh, fruity, sweet. This has a big dose of sweetness to the fragrance. So if you don't enjoy sweet fragrances, you won't enjoy bright peach. And if you don't enjoy fruity fragrances, you won't enjoy this, because that peach is the main star of the show, hence the name. It's strong in the top, it's strong in the mid, and it works its way down into the dry down. But with this, it does go woodsy, it is musky, it definitely has a creamy quality to the fragrance, and you do get very light boozy touches. Once that opening calms down and it heads into the mid, the cognac does come through. But to my nose and on my skin, it's very light, like it's present, but it's sitting way in the back because the peach is overshadowing everything. The labdanum, the benzoin, it does warm the base up, and it adds a very light resinous quality into the base of the fragrance. And like I say, the more this dries down, the creamier it turns and the muskier it gets on my skin. And you do get a very light woodsy undertone that comes through. There is no doubt about it that this leans more on the feminine side, but I would call this unisex leaning femme, because if you enjoy fruity, peachy fragrances, you would enjoy this. There's no doubt about it. And this lasts 8 hours on my skin and some. By the 8th hour, it is a skin scent, but I can still pick it up on clothes. It is on there for days. I think this costs about £24 in the UK for an 80ml bottle. And we all know the prices of Tom Fords. They've shot up through the roof. And I'm not taking anything away from that fragrance. If you are on a budget and you haven't got the money to fork out for a Tom Ford fragrance, this will not let you down. Otherwise, I won't be reviewing it. But anyway, that is Bright Peach from Maison Alhambra. This is a great smelling fragrance. And coming in lastly, but not lastly, because this is not a ranked list, but coming in last, so to speak, is Addicted from Aaron Terence Hughes. £30 for 30ml of this juice. If you like gourmand fragrances, you're going to be in heaven with this. If you haven't tried it, get your paws on it. This is sexy, this is seductive, this is a great date night fragrance. It's a little bit boozy. Yeah, this smells good all the way through. You got cognac, honey, cinnamon, apple, chocolate, vanilla, tonka and sandalwood. How does this open up? Warm, sweet, sexy, boozy. You get the cinnamon, you get this warm apple pie accord drizzled in honey, very sweet, thick. The cognac adds a boozy quality. I do get a fruity touch with this fragrance, plus it does have a little bit of a powdery edge to it. The more this settles, everything just calms down. The sandalwood creeps in, which gives this fragrance a creamy, woodsy quality. Settles down a little bit more. The chocolate comes in with the vanilla. It's got layers to it. It's like boozy, honeyed, warm, cinnamon, apple pie. Cognac calms down. That apple pie quality or aroma calms down. Then this vanillic chocolate accord comes in along with the sandalwood. This is a great smelling fragrance. There is no doubt about it. If you like Killian's Angel Shares, yes, some people would say this is very close. I would say it's in the same vein as that fragrance. There is no doubt about it. But there is differences. There is definitely differences to Addicted and Killian's Angel Shares. But this had to go on the list because you get 30ml juice, but it's £30, and the quality of this. I mean, if you've tried any of Aaron's fragrances, you know that he does great work. There is no doubt about it. He is a great perfumer, and all of his fragrances, there's only one out of these whole fragrances that I've tried that I'm not a lover of, and that is Fake. Apart from that, All his fragrances I think are great. Some of them are definitely loves of mine. This deserves to be on the list. This is unisex, this is warm, it's very inviting, it's an attractive fragrance, there's no doubt about it. But anyway, that is Addicted from Aaron Terence Hughes. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is 6 fragrances that are of very good quality. They smell a lot more expensive than what they cost, that's for sure. Like I say, they range from 20 to 35 pounds. So if you're on a budget, this review will do you justice. All of these smell great, and like I say, they're of very good quality. Drop a comment down below and let me know which ones you own out of these 6. Which ones have you tried? Which ones are you interested in? I would love to hear your thoughts. I appreciate everybody's support, and remember, smelling good's always a pleasure and never a chore. And I'll definitely see you lot on the next one. Cheers.